I'm so excited to have you on here. The first thing we want to talk about, of course, is the weather. Why? Because I live in Oklahoma, and every time spring gets springy, you got to let people know that things are happening. So the first thing to let you know is that tonight there is a chance of tornadic weather. I live in Norman, Oklahoma, so be aware of that. Get with your local meteorologist. Make sure you have a way to get the weather. Make sure you have all the things that you need, and make sure that that happens. Do you have a way to get weather alerts? Do you have the center point, lowest level, center part of your house? If you don't have a storm shelter, if you have a storm shelter, please do that. Make sure that that happens, and just be aware and be careful and take care of everything that needs to be taken care of. Now, let's talk about this. I recently went to a conference, and I am in a state officer for PTA, Parent Teacher Association, and so it's very unique because I am ultimately in a predominantly female association. So one of the things that I thought of and I have to think of is, when I go on a conference, what do people think? What do they think I'm there for? Why do they think I'm there? I'm there to be an advocate. I'm there to support my kiddos, support my wife, and support everybody around me. That's why I'm there. Like, that's why I'm there to do our work. That's why we're there on Capitol Hill. That's why we're, getting everything done. That's our charge, our mission is to be an advocate for all people and all children from wherever they're from. It is a huge thing for us to make that happen. And so it is very important to me that I handle myself with professionalism and decorum and all of that. However, there is a little bit of a situation. Sometimes people think you're there for some other reason. And then you're like, uh-oh. So that is not necessarily what I thought was going to happen. But ultimately, I had to be careful. And so I am ultimately learning a couple of things. And one of the things that I'm learning is that you have to be very direct with your intentions. And I think that this is probably a good thing to do for everyone. And that is that you need to make sure that you are letting everybody know why you are there and what the importance of you being there is. And so, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Sorry, y'all. It's a little warm. I'm sitting in the car, but it's like, it can get hot. So ultimately, I have to be real direct and know, like, why am I there and what am I saying? So what I have come to the conclusion is, if you are there for some other reason, if you're there to hook up, say so. If you are there because you're there for a conference, be at the conference and do that. But you need to be very clear from the very beginning. And I think this is a true statement for most relationships, which is, if you are in a relationship and you're there to hook up with each other, I think you should just say so. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but the reality is it keeps things very much above board. You're asking for what you want, and you're telling people, this is what I'm looking for. It is very easy to do that. Versus if you're in it for, like, I'm in it for a long-term relationship. I want to have a marriage. Hello? Sorry, I'm going to check your name real quick. Is it Isabel? Hello, Isabel. Thank you for coming on. So yes, if you're in a relationship, I think you should be very honest. I think you should sit there and look at that and go, you know what? This is what I want. This is who I am ready to, I want to have children. I don't want to have children. I want to travel the world. I want to stay home. I want to put down roots. Sorry, y'all. Is it Beam? Is it Beamer? Nina twice. Hello. So I'm glad to see all of you. So it is really, like, important that you are very honest in your relationships. I think it's also important to know that you two will do the best if you fight together, not against each other. Because if you're fighting with each other, that's messy. It's real messy. I tell my kids that they should be third on my priority list, and they look at me like I've lost my damn mind. You've lost your mind, sir. What do you mean third? Well, what I tell people is this. I need to have myself first. I need to take care of myself. Then I need to take care of my wife. Why? Because if she's taken care of and I'm taken care of, then guess what? My kids get to see a healthy relationship. That is phenomenal. It is amazing, and it is the best way to do things. But you have to find out where you are on your priority list, which I will do another time on this podcast, where we can sit down and talk about where you think you are on your priority list. And I think that's a fantastic question, and we can find out a way to do that. But while we're looking at healthy relationships, a couple of different things that you also need to look at is communication. You need to make sure that your communication is it you did this and you did that and you should have done this and you should have done that? Or is it, oh, I heard you say, or I'm feeling this, what are you feeling? Are you having conversations together? Are you accusing each other? Are you a scorekeeper? Are you a scorekeeper is a great question to ask. And you might ask yourself, what is a scorekeeper? Well, let me tell you, it's not great. It doesn't mean that you love to run up the score. That's not great either. So what happens is this. If you're a scorekeeper, what it means is when you do something wrong, I'm going to bring it up. And I'm not going to bring it up once. I'm going to bring it up every time you say something. I'm going to say, but you did this last week, and you did this 2 weeks ago, and you did this 3 weeks ago. Remember in 1975 when you were 3 years old? You did this, and you start bringing everything up over and over and over and over. And guess who wins when you do that? Nobody. 0 people win. Everybody feels bad. You've hurt each other. You've gone to the mat with each other. It's bad. And you end up just feeling bad afterwards, and no one is happy. So scorekeeping is one of the worst things that we can do, and a lot of people do it, is they'll bring everything up you've ever done wrong. I think that is not great. So, but what can you do? You can sit down together and say, hey, this is what I think we've done well. These are the strengths that we have as a couple. These are the areas I think we need to work on. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why do you agree? Why don't you agree? The other thing that you can do is go on a trip. Why? Because you will learn a lot about each other in a car. And I don't mean like a little bitty, like a micro 15-minute trip. I mean 7, 8 hours. Say, can you love each other after you get out of the car? My wife and I drove to California and drove back, and we still had stuff to talk about. I mean, of course, she's my best friend, and I adore her, so that helps when that's the case. But it is a fascinating thing to really look at that and go, okay, how do I make that happen where I am wanting to, I'm curious about what she does. My wife has a different career than I do. So we get to sit and talk about her work and my work, and I learn and I ask questions, and I'm like, tell me about what that means. What does that mean? Or what does that look like? And she gets to then ask me about my work and what we're doing. And that is amazing as well. So we're always looking at these ways to connect to each other, but to ask each other a question, be curious, and then be honest and open with each other and have fun and laugh. If I don't laugh until I pee at least once, then I'm like, really? Are we having fun? We also have children. We have 2 boys, and if you haven't looked at the Boy Dad channel, you should, because you'll get to see they are hilarious, and they say the craziest stuff, and it is super funny to be parents of 2 preteens. They maybe don't think it's that funny, but we do. So I'm giving them lots of props lately because they're in their teen years, and I want them to know that I'm proud of them and all the amazing things they do, because they are incredible. But at the same time, they do make you laugh, and they'll say things that you're like, oh, did that happen? And you're like, yeah, it did. So we will laugh about our children. We will talk about how to raise our kids. We'll really just get into it and visit, like, what is it we want and what is it we're trying to do. And we really hope to guide them and help them and create young gentlemen. Why? Because it is very important to us that we want them to be in a space that they honor people that they're with, and honor the people that they get into relationships with, and that they know that it is a responsibility and it is not something you take lightly, and that you need to really be okay. Now, here's a kicker on the flip side of that. What happens when your young gentleman son goes and there's a young lady who is not feeling the same? And not feeling the same, but being a little nasty and like trying to be not nice. Then what do you do? Because I'm teaching my son to be a gentleman. I'm teaching him to be respectful and kind and loving. And I've got a young lady on the other side that's not being that way to my child. So I have to teach him to be self-confident, meaning that he knows who he is. He knows that he's valuable. He knows that he's loved. He knows that he's amazing and kind, and that he does not have to tolerate that either. So teaching him boundaries and saying, do not go back to somebody that's going to treat you badly. Like, that is just a given. If they're going to treat you bad and you're going to feel bad when you're with them and you don't feel like you're doing the right thing, then guess what? You don't need to be in that space. You need to use your instincts to say, I'm not going to be in this place. I'm not going to be treated that way. I deserve better. At the same time, if it were my child that was doing that on the other side, I would regulate them. They will know immediately if they have done something they're not supposed to do and they have been disrespectful to a person they're with. Because I will not tolerate that in any way. Period. That is the way it is. And that may be a little strict for people, but I'm okay with that. Because I'm raising my sons and I'm making sure that they are gentlemen and that they will be treating other people like gentlemen and that they will be respectful. And luckily for me, they've done great. I said they have done great. They're still learning. They're young. They're immature. They do silly stuff sometimes, and I'm working on that. but it is something I do not tolerate. My wife does not tolerate, and we just are, and we're a little old school. I'm a Gen Xer, and she's on the cusp, so you have that. So you youngins out there that are doing stuff, it can be it's different. Y'all dating, it's a little different, but I'm proud of the way that you guys have handled yourselves and the way that you do that. So that's always interesting for us to raise these young men and raise these young men in a world that's very open, and there's a lot of cameras and a lot of things like that, and to make sure that they're being respectful and kind and nice and all the things. So these are my topics. Now, is there anything you would like me to talk about that is respectful and normal? Not anything too crazy. If there's anything you would like me to talk about, please put the subject in the chat and let me go ahead and bring it up. Religiously, my wife and I were very different. I grew up Lutheran, which is almost like Catholic, and then she grew up Assembly of God, which is like a charismatic church, and so that was fascinating when we got together. And so, because her church has a gift of speaking in tongues, where my church does not, and so we had to walk through that and have those conversations and really just like open up about our faith and all of that. And so it's been fun. That's a fun discussion to have when you're dating and when you're getting together. It's like, oh, let's talk about religiosity, or whether you are a spiritual person or a religious person, whether your tradition is, maybe it's Hindu or Buddhism or some other like world religion, or it could be Islam. I mean, it could be all different things. So you have to kind of look at that, what that looks like, and what the traditions will look like, what the family structure will look like. So I find that is an important discussion to have. Obviously, finances is an important thing to have. You need to tell people how much debt you have coming in. And am I going to be perfectly honest and say I told her everything? No. I didn't. I messed up by not doing that. And I'm going to say, don't make my mistake. Learn from it. Tell them. Get it out in the open and let them know what's going on. So, I mean, these are just some things that I'm thinking about when it comes to healthy relationships. Again, open communication, making sure that you're talking to each other and listening. And how do you know if you're listening? The way that you know if you're listening is if you are thinking about the answer before they are done talking, you are not listening. So again, if you are thinking about a response to something somebody else is saying, and you are, before they ever stop talking, you are not listening. You are formulating a response. So one of the things that you can do, it's a great way to get out of something as well. Just put this in your ear and remember this. You say, I'm sorry, I was listening to you so intently. I don't have a response at this time. They're going to be like, whoa, can you get mad at somebody for listening too much? I don't think so. So there is that opportunity. Little tricks. But at the same time, again, listen and learn from people that have been there before. If you have people that have been married for a long time, pay attention, listen to them, ask them questions, ask them about how they did that, what they learned. Most of them will tell you that relationships are not fast and easy, and there's no issues, and it's going to be fairy tale like movie version. It is that there is ebbs and flows, and there is difficulty and struggle, but when you do that and you do that together, having someone to fight with and having someone to be with you is amazing, and to have the right person with you is even better, because again, like I said, my wife Francisca is amazing, and I love her more than anything. And it's like, because she's been my best friend for 29 years, I think 29 years, close to 29 years. So it's like, which is amazing. It is very, very cool. So I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope it is 80 something degrees at my house, 83 or so. Again, we got a little bit of feisty weather coming in later. If it does get a little hairy, I may video it later. So if you want to check it out, watch my channel. I'll be posting videos all the time. This Car Chat podcast, I have several from before. Go back, listen to them. For you guys that are back, thank you so much. I have some of you, I recognize your names. You've been coming back to my car chats, and I appreciate you, and thank you. You're amazing, and know that I will be doing this again. My hope is on Thursday around 4:15, 4:30 probably, because I got to get my kids home. So we're missing one of the appointments. I do it at home, in this case, in the car. But I hope you guys have a great day, and I will be seeing you soon. Go, again, watch all my other videos on my other channels. Give me likes, thumbs up, hearts, all the things, and keep coming back.